Hi, hello, welcome or welcome back. So I wanted to do another reading in the dark, but it's day. Like the sun is out. So there is literally nothing that I can do about it. And I need to wait for the right stores to open. So here we are, making the most of the day. Squeezing out the day. So this is going to be a card of the day. I just wanted to start right away, and I didn't finish to prepare all the set. But I'm just going to take a little break. Tyrese, yes. I'm just going to take a teeny tiny break. You will not even realize. Alright, so today's card is Tiresias or Tiresias. So it is of tradition to tell the myth before I do the reading using the clarifiers that are right here. So I don't think I shared the myth of this card already. If I did, I am going to reshare it because sometimes new details come out and perhaps the video is old. I don't know. I'm just going with the flow. So, who was Tiresias? Yeah, my deck's in French. So it was a person. Okay, like the simplest answer is that Tiresias was a person, a guy. And at some point, it was just a random day. Say, go outside, you go for a walk, it's a Tuesday. A random day. And he has a very strong and powerful magical encounter that will change his life forever. It's interesting because what happens is something very quick. It's something very almost insignificant. It's just that the nature of the creatures involved is a little ambivalent because he sees a couple of snakes. This is a card that talks about duality, so there's a lot of number 2 coming up. We are also going to see what the duality male and female is refers to in this myth. You see 2 snakes. And so the 2 snakes, so of course we're talking about snakes. So with snakes you never know. There are peaceful snakes and they just go around. Some of them swim. Snakes can be messengers as well. They might eat rats, I guess, but they're pretty peaceful snakes overall. And then there's the don't touchy snake, And so, of course, if you see a snake, your most instinctive reaction is to look at it. Anubis, todo bien. Todo bien. Wait, let me calm it down. All right, I'm back. So. Tiresias sees the 2 snakes, and of course it catches his attention, and of course he looks at the snakes. But he witnesses something that happens in nature. 2 snakes, they meet and they work. They also happen to the nasties. Okay. But he gets scared, okay, because I don't know, maybe he didn't know what kind of snakes he was seeing. Perhaps he just reacted too quickly, or perhaps he was meant to be. Whatever the case, he took a stone and killed the two creatures on the act. Cruel, I know. But this is exactly what happened. And what happens is that pretty quickly he starts perceiving changes within. And something very interesting reported in the myth is that one of his first thoughts are about magic. Okay, one of his first thoughts are about, okay, I did something. This dynamic that I was witnessing was likely enchanted, and something is happening to me. And he shapeshifts. Okay, he is transformed into a lady. And what the myth narrates is that he continues his life for, I think, a decade or so, perhaps even more, in the body of a female. And so, even though his first conditioning, and this is from a psychological point of view, this is actually an interesting add. The fact that his first conditioning was not the one of a little girl. Okay, so something happens. Something happens in the future where this detail might be of importance, and perhaps it's just me. Anywho, he shapeshifts, lives his life, and we see how the moment where everything shifts needs to have a little bit more of an explanation, and then from that moment on, things move on pretty smoothly, potentially for a decade or so, as I was saying, until gods enter the conversation. Gods enter the chat, and basically, it's not just any gods. It's Zeus and Hera, so the rulers of Mount Olympus. Okay, you don't want to upset the heads. And why are they entering the conversation? It's because they have marital issues, as per usual. If you know even just a teeny tiny bit of Greek mythology, you might know that Zeus was known for one big battle and then a lot of questionable intimate activities. Even if he was officially and divinely, legally, whatever you want to say it and see it, married to Hera. So they're having one more quarrel because he did it again. The thing, he did it again. And they need a judge. So they pick Tiresias. Why? Because accordingly to the results of their partial or agreement of the moment, in some shape or form, he could have had the capacity to make a decision while integrating both points of view. So, this is where Tiresias F's up gigantically. Because he argues that even though there was infidelity, it is kind of justified by the fact that Zeus is a guy. So what happens next is pretty brutal, but I'm just going to say that our Tiresias friend loses his eyesight. In the name of bro code. And to compensate that, because the myth is not over yet, bear with me. To compensate that, Hera also gives him the gift of Psyche. Okay, he gets to see hidden things, even though he doesn't manage to see the rest of the things anyway. But it is also said that the journey of Teresa is one very interesting and very important when it comes to referencing and using examples of many things, unusual ways to get to know yourself, the sometimes tumultuous journey needed in order to gain knowledge of self. Well, talks also about the wrath of the gods, but we'll see. Okay, I think I'm just going to leave it here because I feel like I'm receiving downloads already, and I want to remain group specific. So let's just explain how the group selection is going to work. All right, so I picked the card during the first part, the intro of this video, and it's Tiresias. So this is how the group selection is going to go if you're not familiar with it. If this is a card of the day, we have 4 keywords. Okay? They represent different runes. Each keyword is connected to a number. Okay, from 1 to 4. I am now thinking, okay, I'm going to give you 2 options. You can choose. Option number 1 will be I give you just the numbers. Option number 2, I give you the numbers and the keywords. So if you want option number 1, this sounded like a call center, but it's okay. I'm just trying to keep things organized. So if you choose option number 1, you just continue listening, and then you will be able to skip. If you want to receive the keywords as well, you stay until the end of the group selection. So, option number 1, sit down, focus, breathe, try to picture the numbers from 1 to 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Once you've done that, you can skip to the corresponding part of this video. Option 2. So, group number 1 will have the clairvoyances. Group number 2 will have the messages. Group number 3 will have the dualities. And group number 4 will have knowledge of self. See you at your group. Alright, group 1, you picked the clairvoyances. Clairvoyance. So, Of course, this card talks about hidden things. Just one card at a time. Being able to see through. Okay, there it is. This talks about the third eye. Gut feeling, what you cannot see, what you might not even be able to touch, but you know it's there. It's like deep down you know the truth. Group number one. Well, deep down you know that there is a specific thread that you are supposed to follow. But for some reasons you are scared. Perhaps you are scared of how people will judge you. Perhaps you are scared of someone is in particular. It's like you might be wondering what would happen if you were to just... What the fuck? I am sorry about this, but I really don't like losing things. Okay. Sorry. It's like you're wondering what would happen if you were to just speak up. What would happen? Oh, okay. Okay, I was trying to like push the thought off, and whenever I do, it usually comes out that I had to talk about the thing. But when it's like difficult stuff to deliver, it's like I like to take the long tour. Okay, so that I'm really sure that this is what I need to say. If I cannot get the thing of my mind, and also I keep on getting clarifiers, it becomes pretty obvious. So you're scared to tell the truth, you are scared to embody your truth, you are scared to open a difficult conversation. And to be honest, it's because you know that someone is keeping a very close eye on everything that you do. Someone is kind of tracking you, is tracking your moves, is tracking everything that you do. And I'm getting that for some of you it's to a point where you might not like it. Like this person might have crossed some sort of boundary, but there is something that is necessary for you that probably has nothing to do with them or against them, because I'm getting moving silence. Spirit wouldn't give this type of advice if it wasn't necessary. So I'm getting that the point is not that you might have something to hide, but perhaps you just need to know. Or perhaps I'm getting that for some of you kind of need confirmation that it will cause issues. Okay, like someone will know about you speaking about something, you moving in a certain way, you taking... I'm getting a leap of faith or something. Different scenarios, you'll know which one resonates. But this is something like... It's like going from a place where you kind of feel dragged by the waves to a place where you feel like you are in control, and there is like this one major step that needs to be taken. There is something that your guts are begging you to do, where it's like you know that you cannot move on in your life until you deliver this truth. You drop the weight, kind of. So yeah, perhaps there is someone who would try and interfere basically before, um, like all of a sudden I'm seeing sports. Okay, I'm seeing someone trying to score a goal and someone anticipating the tactics and placing themselves um, right in front, even if it might be like irregular, like it's not really fair, it's not really legitimate that this person chooses to do that. Sorry. Ouch. But basically, if they were to know, they would do that. Okay, this is what you need to understand. Like, if they were to know in advance that um, you're planning to do what they really don't want you to do, like, I'm getting that it's something that they would really dislike. Okay, they would really, really dislike. Um, they would actively try and interfere. So, but this is something that you need to do. So, this is also probably about you having to release some sort of toxic guilt towards something. Like it's not really your responsibility to hinder yourself. It's gonna okay. Back, if you listen to the myth, you already know what I'm talking about. If you didn't, I'm going to give you a short recap. The main character here is interrogated by the gods, and basically he crumbles when it's time to give the answer that would grant him safety, basically, um, because he feels like Zeus is watching him. But the thing is that he overrides another goddess' will. And her punishment is probably harsher than. Like, it's not mentioned. It's not mentioned. So I don't really know if Zeus was going to actually do something to him. But whatever the case, he gets punished. So there might be this might be you having to choose the what's the word, the lesser pain or something like that. Like it's kind of like ripping a band-aid, but someone doesn't want you to rip the band-aid, so you would you would get consequences because ripping off the band-aid hurts. And then at the same time, there is someone who absolutely wants you to keep on the bandage because I don't know, they gifted a bandage. So I have some very cute bandage, but I don't know where they are. Anyway, maybe you, I don't know, no, maybe you have a cute bandage. I don't know why I was thinking about it. Maybe it's a synchronicity, whatever, you'll know. So, I think that's all for you, group number 1. I hope this gave you clarity. Just kind of, I guess that this is kind of the point of what you're trying to do. You're trying to bring clarity into your life, and you are realizing that it can only come from you. It can literally only come from you. So you're going to have to put on the scale what's more important, and basically you are going to make this move if you have the guts. I'm getting like this is something that really requires your bravery for some reason. But like yeah, if you have the guts to choose yourself and give yourself the clarity that you want out of the situation, okay, like you do not let people gaslight you, you walk away with the truth that you know that you have, even if that means having to deliver that truth somewhere else, basically. But you deliver your truth. All right. Now I'm really going to move on to group number 2. Thank you. Bye. Alright, sorry, I'm back. I needed a snack. So, group number 2, you chose the messages. So, there is something about some sort of communication. Ooh. Okay. I don't know if it's absent or dissatisfying communication. And I'm getting that you kind of already know. It's like, should I try and go the extra mile for this? But it's kind of like, it's kind of something that you feel like doing just because you feel like you have to, or just it feels risky to drop the conversation. Like, it might feel rude, or maybe it's just risky because I do have to take a risk. Perhaps it's a very valuable opportunity, and your anxiety is telling you that if you don't keep on making yourself known in the situation, it will fade away. But the thing is that the situation requires more patience. So it feels risky, of course, but you need to take the least shiny road in this case, the least shiny option, because we also have to take care of your home. So I'm reading this as focus on yourself. Okay, like literally focus on yourself. You know, like okay, this might be something that is important in the sense where it's something that you need to learn how to go back to. Whenever anxiety creeps in, go do something. There's probably plenty that needs your attention, but then there is this one, and this is the interesting thing. If things were already resolved, you wouldn't have to pour so much attention, to pour so much anxiety, to put so much to experience so much stress in the situation. So this can mean two things. Either that the situation still has to evolve, and this is something that has to happen away from you, or this is just not the right situation and therefore it will fade away naturally. And you can only know if you give it the chance to. It feels risky because it feels like control slips away from your hands. But you never truly had it. Like, we can only control so much throughout this human life, okay? And so everything that you can't control can only teach you and readdress your attention towards what you can control, which in your case is your space. okay? Everything that um, you and only you can touch, okay? Because it's interesting. I remember that I did a session a few years ago, and I had the occasion to talk about the importance of handling your space, feeling like you have control over your physical reality, literally in terms of objects. And this is something that you can develop even when you don't have, like, okay, this is a concept that I actually started developing before so when was that? Well, I already had, okay, it was an in-between phase, okay, so to say. And so I had a personal space, but it was shared. Like, I did not have full control over everything that would happen, and I did have experienced that before, and I wanted it back. Okay, to be honest, once you have a taste of what you truly like, it's not really easy to then pretend that you never did. And so I started focusing truly on that type of internal reprogramming because I knew that it was something pretty vital for me. So what I discovered to my interest was that as long as you focus on your own atmosphere, your own personal atmosphere, you can definitely still create change. So, and there was also the importance of, from a cognitive point of view, being able to mentally build a map of a physical space, even if it's just a corner in a park, specific spot in a library. But when life is chaotic, when you are subjected to daily chaos, especially, and this is just a side scenario if you relate to that, it is harder to create movement precisely because there is a total lack of control. Okay, you just become one more object. You just become one more piece that gets moved around. Unless you start establishing control over your own space. And this is what you need to be doing right now, okay? Like, instead of trying to move the outside, you are supposed to see and learn how to exert your power on the inside, okay? Learn how to start seeing yourself as if you were driving a spaceship, okay? And everything around you are the commands of the spaceship. And the spaceship always needs something. Sometimes it's fuel, sometimes it's water, sometimes it's velocity, sometimes it's less velocity. Okay, but it always needs something, and you always need to check in with the space, with your spaceship, that in order to make sure that you always have this sense of progression, that you always have this sense of, okay, this is the central space, this is the cabin, okay, this is the oval room, whatever you want to call it. And there's a flux of information that daily comes in and has to be treated. And there's also a flux of information that always has to come out. Cleaning, taking care of the of the smell, taking care of the general balance. Okay, perhaps there's a little chaos, but overall everything is coherent, everything is clean, sanitized, whatever. Okay. But those are not just tasks. That's what I'm trying to say. Those are not just the boring tasks that you need to get done, like that you need to take care of, and then you're done. Mm-hmm. Oh, I forgot to pull this one out. Root chakra. That's meditation. That's spiritual practice too. I did some shorts about it, by the way. But this is supposed to ground you. You cannot be healthy and you have your upper chakras open like that, and anything and everything can just come in without a single filter, and you follow whatever idea. You cannot call yourself healthy and your heart chakra is fully open for others, but then your third chakra is closed and you pour out to in every direction. You might be enabling pretty wrong stuff. There has to be a balance, and right now you are meant to achieve that by grounding yourself and enhancing how powerful you can be and feel as you ground yourself. It's not nothing. You are doing something, and you are doing something that is pretty important. This is something that has to remain in your daily routine. Okay, so this is probably the reason why I'm taking so much time in this video. This might deserve a personal vlog. Okay, those are the type of practices that you might want to take care of during your lucky window. Okay, so when you are in between, say, 21, 23, and 25, because that is when you are almost already an adult. Like, you know what kind of adult you want to be, you know how you learn, you know how fast you learn, you know what you like, what you dislike, likely in terms of people. Unless you've been isolated fully, that can happen too. But what I'm trying to say is that you already have, and even if you have been, and you decide that it's time to change, you already have an amount of experience of life that can inform your decisions more or less. You also have, and I don't want to discourage anyone with this. It's just science, okay? Science and amazing humans also tell us that it's never too late. If you want to introduce something brand new in your life, you can do it even after your luckiest band, your luckiest window, cerebrally wise. It's just that it's going to be different, okay? During that time, you're just about to crystallize habits. Okay, you're just about to crystallize thoughts. You're just about to crystallize ways of being. So you might want to take care of the fact that those are the correct ones. And yes, of course, you will have to continuously do so. But if you take the time at the right time to root yourself, to let what you want to keep for the rest of your life take deep roots within you, you can do pretty amazing stuff. Okay, you can do pretty amazing stuff. I will definitely have to do a separate vlog about it. So if you click on this video and you feel like you want to need more, because I need to move on a little bit faster because this is a collective reading, but let me know. I wanted to do a vlog about this anyway, so I'm just going to try and wrap things up quickly right now. But basically, to work on physical issues, that's a great moment. To get to know your own health better, amazing time. learn a new skills, learn several skills all at once, doable. Okay, if you already know how to manage time, how you work around the clock, how you work on the clock, doable. Okay, so this is what I'm sensing. This might be a fertile or a propitious, I think, a favorable moment for you to focus on you. Okay, this is probably the type of stuff that you will be grateful for on the long run. Okay, you might enter a completely new phase of your life, and all of a sudden all of the things that you had to work on by yourself start becoming necessary, and you will feel so grateful that you took this time to work on yourself. Okay, so don't be afraid of taking the time for the right things, if you know that it's the right thing. And in this case, investing on yourself, it's never a bad idea. Okay, so that was all. I hope it gave you clarity. Moving on. See you soon. Bye. Okay, group number. So I was snacking still. Number 3, you have the dualities, and boom. First clarifier out is watch out for your partner. So who are you dealing with? Group number 3, that is making you feel a little bit of the EBGBs. Who's making you feel like it's okay to talk to them, but their aura says otherwise? Who's smiling in your face, and then whenever they smile to you, you feel unease. Okay. So, 2 more cards. I'm going to leave them to the sides just in case. So, I see that this is some sort of information or learning experience or just life experience that you would rather like to bypass or not have at all. Okay, because I see that there is hard work involved. It's like you have to either endure a lot or be patient a lot, or kind of like staying on your toes. But there is something that Spirit wants you to. Okay. I see what this is about. And I see why we have the 2 additional cards. Talk to Spirit and acknowledge your power. Spirit kind of wants you to look at something from up close. Look at this. They're like, stop, sleeping. Like the animals do it. That's how I see that. So there is some sort of close-up. And Spirit is zooming, is forcing you to zoom your attention onto something. And the issue is that something moves. Wow. Okay. This is triggering. This might trigger someone. Like you having this demeanor, you having this attitude, you embody. Okay, you have to be careful. You have to be careful. You know that it's a learning experience. and you're playing with fire, and you are doing it with confidence. It's like, okay, whatever. But you're not realizing that the other party is triggered as fuck. Okay, like your confidence here is triggering the, I don't want to say this, but it's the object of your real life studies a lot. Okay? And let me get this straight. As long as you are not using somebody, okay? You're just going with the flow, with the relationship, with the dynamic. But this from the other side, there's a specific type of reaction that you're not giving, that it's not happening. And this is causing a lot of rage. And the interesting part is that, and this is where I'm being drawn to expect a surprise, you feel like you are doing things in the best possible way, but and you are and you need to give yourself credit for this, because rage is wanted out of you. So I see this triggered energy also trying to trigger you. And so it's time for your hardcore meditation. You're like steaming smoke from your nostrils, but calming down the dragon, okay? Because there might be a trap, okay? There might be a trap. Pay attention to the synchronicities. Even dragons need to pay attention. Remember, I don't know why okay. I did not watch the ending of Game of Thrones because it was spoiler to me. I wanted to kick Jon Snow in the fucking face and explain to him a couple of things. Of course, that was not possible. But I consciously chose to not give myself that experience because I already knew what was going to happen, because I know myself. Like my feminism was going to rage and itch a little more than what I wanted out of an entertaining TV series. But I did watch a huge part of it. And so there's that scene where Daenerys gets to a new place, and the villager starts complaining because the dragons just spit fire, eat, and take food everywhere. Okay, and they asked to Daenerys, what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do with your dragon? What do dragons eat? And she's a bit of on a ego trip, and she simply answers, whatever they want. Okay. And so you might be a little bit on your dragon behavior, like I just do what I want. I just say what I want, okay? And there was a song that was almost like that, or perhaps because I saw the meme about Drake, and it was hilarious. But I didn't listen to the song just yet, so I don't know if I'm doing a mess or not. If I am, I'm very sorry. Anyway, you're just being free. But now let's imagine what would have happened. Kind of like the same type of conversation that I would have had with Jon Snow. What would have happened if you were to stick the weapon instead of using that, and rather do literally anything else? I'm not going to be vulgar just today. Also, I wrote it out somewhere somehow. So let's close it here. But what would have happened if Daenerys were to just have a little bit more control over her dragon? Okay, if issues with the villagers could have been easily avoided. And this is the question that you need to ask yourself here. Okay, what's more important, to assert your power? And that's why I have it on the side. To assert your power, you know that you have it. It's like, if I wanted to, I could spit fire. Right? It could get hot quickly. But I also don't need that. It's kind of like I'm with my dog. Sometimes he would, when he was not with me, he would get in fights with cats, and so he gets scared. But part of my job as a responsible human caretaker is to remind him that yes, he can get scared and feel like it's time to unleash the beast. But the cat is also not going to do anything, especially if I'm there, just supervising. They feel the authority and they just go, okay. So basically, it's not the right time to assert your authority, to assert your power, to assert there's a very specific short that I've been wanting to do. I just didn't have the time. But it's kind of like you are postponing. You are postponing the moment where you're going to assert yourself in your true nature. Because I see that this is natural. This is your natural nature. And it is not natural behavior for someone else. So you are kind of mirroring them. But this is not... this is but a fraction of what the real do could do. Okay? But it's... I don't know. I could give you 100,000 metaphors, but please just follow me, okay? You don't go and break the arm of someone who doesn't have muscles just because you need to prove that you have muscles, okay? Don't be a bully just because you can, just because you feel a certain way, just because, I don't know, this person is giving you an attitude, and they are, but... Okay, just give a little bit of attitude. See, ignore. If you have to give a little bit of attitude in response, but don't enter the piggy fight. Okay, they just like to get dirty. Okay, they just want to have the fight, and you have better things to do. Okay, if you were to be honest with yourself, you have better things to do than to teach a motherfucker how to exist. Set yourself free. Life will teach the right lessons to the right people when it's the right time. Okay? So in the meantime, be patient. Basically. Be patient, because you are going to have your moments where you are like, see, I told you, I told you, okay? And perhaps you have, I don't know why, maybe you're a Scorpio, because this feels heavily like Scorpio energy, or perhaps you just have psychic abilities, okay? So... it's kind of like you feel like there's a very specific type of energy that is owed to you in the interaction. It's not being given to you, and this person kind of wants you to, this energy kind of wants you to demand that. But the interesting part is that it is going to be given to you naturally. Okay? But you have to work hard, but not in the sense where this energy wants that. You're working hard on yourself. You're working hard on your own protection. Okay? You're working hard on keeping your peace. You are setting priorities. And by doing so, you are also informing your future actions when if the time for action perhaps you have a confrontation that is much needed, but this way you will be able to conduct that while keeping in mind that peace is your top tier priority. Okay? Which might also mean just telling someone to shut the fuck up, but it hits different when it's the right time. I'm just an observer, okay? I'm just an observer of reality, and sometimes reality is amazing. So, thank you, group number 3. I hope this gave you clarity. I need to keep this out. All right, yeah. If you feel called to leave a comment down below, this can help me confirm the messages, but it can also help other people make the translation between the energy and the practical information. Bye. See you soon. All right. Group number 4. We'll still eat. You have the knowledge of self. And I see that you're going through a very sensitive part of your journey where you're wondering what truly comes from you and what is learned behavior, or you might be questioning parts of yourself. Perhaps you are going through a dark night of the soul, major transformation, and which is normal and healthy, and it's supposed to happen here and there throughout life. And you are realizing that you are ready to let go of stuff. There are certain behaviors, there are certain habits, certain mentalities even, that you're more than willing to just fully let go. And I see that this is kind of being brought to your attention by accident. So you might have been in the process of going in a different direction, and then, let's say, life, people, if you're in tune in that, synchronicities, dreams even, and started gently knocking at the door of your consciousness, like, don't you think that there is something that we should pay attention to? Pay attention to the synchronicities. Like, we're entering into a major new chapter. So is this how we want to enter? As we enter. And no, you want to enter dancing. Like, you want to enter, like, not necessarily dancing unless that's yourself, but metaphorically speaking, dancing, meaning that you don't want to bring old baggage, okay? And so you might also be a little bit like your energy is a little bit retracted. That's because you are densifying, you're making yourself dance in this new reality, and you left a trail, okay? You left experiences behind, you left mistakes behind, you left people, situations, places behind, like you would normally do. And this can be as simple as you having to decide what stays and what goes. Okay, kind of Mary Kondo, um, but your life in general. And this is not about your life in general. This could be very specific about a past portion of your life that you are deciding um, to which extent you want to bring that in your next chapter, and also to which extent you want to integrate that into your ongoing narrative, which is pretty important. Okay, like if you move on from a situation telling yourself and therefore eventually telling others it was a terrible experience, this and that happened to me, and I don't know. It has a different effect than it was an enriching experience. I had um, hiccups and learning moments, and I learned a lot. Of course, there were difficulties, but overall, I'm very grateful. Um, it can look like nothing, but at the end of the day, the way you frame an entire universe that you have been a part of will shape the way in which you will interact with it in the future. Because, of course, if you walk out of a universe and you tell yourself it was a terrible experience, it was a mistake, I was in a rush, I don't know why I took that decision, why I stayed so long, whatever type of reason, perhaps it was just divinely guided and I had to go through that so that I would learn this and this and that, but apart from the learning experience, it was crap. You will focus on extracting the learning, the knowledge, and leaving everything practical behind. If we're talking about a situation where you tell yourself, okay, there were hiccups, there were difficulties, but overall, it was a good experience. You walk away with the knowledge. You might walk away as well with relationships, with contacts, with places to go back to. Okay? So this is what you need to be doing. You need to do the triage. You need to do the selection. Okay? And you are meant to realize that certain things are just not meant to stay. And this is interesting. It's like while you do this, you are going to realize just how important it was to take this time. Just how powerful it is to truly take care of your energy at each and every different stage. Each and every different stage will require a different version of you. And so you need to take the time to craft and perfect the sculptor that you are. No, but really, okay? Really. You can take control of how much beauty, how much lightheartedness you allow in your life, and you allow out when it's not the case, when when it does not support your capacity to look at yourself without toxic filters, I'm getting, which is pretty important. So, self-defense charms. Okay, keep the secret. Ooh, okay. Okay, I'm glad that I pulled this out. So, additional thing, there might be people or a specific someone who doesn't really want you to take this step. And likely it's because this is a connection that if you were to analyze that with a loving, not necessarily in the sense where this person has to have romantic expectations, but just benevolent. If you were to analyze the dynamic, the connection with a benevolent presence that has no real expectations aside from giving you insight on the situation, you were to realize that this connection has to go. And this connection doesn't want to be let go of. So basically, when I'm getting that you are going to know, if you are going to, this is going to be oddly specific, but if you start doing therapy, there is going to be something or someone who is highly unsupportive of that. And the reason is because they're hiding stuff from you. And they know that the moment where the fog gets lifted, where you are put back in touch with your sense of self-love, you are going to see through them. And you are going to want to cut the tie at any cost, basically. Okay? This person might have done some major betrayal, and then they try to hide it under the rug. They might have gaslighted you. They might have observed the effect of the gaslighting on you, chose to not give two shits, and still went on with trying and having access to you, even if it was destroying you. Okay? So your selection process might not be as smooth. Okay? Realize that there are going to be, it's like the plants. Sometimes there are plants that stay stuck on the fabric. Okay? But your ground, your soil is not their place to pollinate. So they have to go. Okay, they have to go, and you are going to have to be outspoken about it. These energies, these people might force you to tell them about themselves and their moms. Sometimes that's also life, okay? Unfortunately, because not everyone is willing to take care of themselves or be accountable. Okay, this person not only did you dirty, but they kept on doing you dirty, to the point where you could only have clarity if you were to bring in some sort of super partes, okay, some a third party, but that is not a third party. Okay, it's a third party, but it's external. Okay, sorry. I have to go. If you were to bring in a third energy, but it's a third energy that stays a little bit outside of the dynamic. Okay, and that's what the equivalent, I don't know, maybe not, you never know these days. So I was going to say the equivalent of talking to a friend who doesn't have expectations and then realize that this is kind of the point of this reading. You might not be able to count on your friends group. This might have to be someone who is fully removed from the situation, like I told yesterday. It could be a coach, could be a therapist, could be a vlog, could be a collective reading, could be a parent, trustworthy parent, trustworthy family member, okay? People who love you, like love you, might see that you are having fun in a certain friendship, in a certain relationship, and then they're like, okay, but what is XYZ doing? Why do they talk to you like that? I would not let someone who loves me talk to me like that. And I love you, so I don't like other people to talk to you like that. They would just drop the information. Okay? Then the work is yours. But what I'm trying to say is that this is meant to be pretty noticeable to anyone who isn't under the spell of the gaslighting. Okay? So, 11, 11, 11, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. I'm now going to close the reading, wrap things up, and I hope that this gave you clarity. That was the purpose. If you feel called to leave a message, if you feel called to leave a comment down below, feel more than free to do so. This can help me confirm the messages, as well as and it can also help other people make that translation between the energetic information and the practical situation. See you. Bye.